And then everybody just has to say, okay, I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, everyone. All right.
Yeah. So I'm really glad to be here with everybody. Can everybody see my screen okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I just, all those years working in corporate America and research spaces, I can't help but have slides. I'm sorry. So it's just kind of like how life works. I'm like, otherwise we're just looking at you'd be wondering what's in my office. And there, yes, there's a disco ball and some stuff. But anyway, um, I'm super excited to be here tonight to talk to all of you. So I'm gonna just jump right in. I know we don't have a ton of time and I could talk for hours. In fact, this weekend I'm doing a retreat with some folks locally. Mostly it's always women, but anyway, I'm doing a retreat this weekend on human design. So I'll be talking about human design all weekend. So it's a
Yay.
great kickoff. So yeah, so I'm really happy to be your guide here. And you guys can like do just little thumbs up or hearts or whatever you want to fling up and say like if how many of you have like or a little bit about this or you just are like I'm curious, I don't know anything, like or if people just want to you can also blurt. I'm really open. I love conversations and questions. So feel if you want to blurt, feel free to blurt. But just a sense of like thumbs up. Yes, I know about this. Maybe I never heard of such a thing. Anyone new, mostly new? Okay. Totally cool either way. And was everybody, well, some of you maybe not, but able to pull up your chart before the session because we're going to talk about some specifics. So, okay, before I get into me, I want to hear about
Christy,
you.
real
Yes.
real quick. So there were a couple, there I think there were three that you could do the
Uh-huh.
charts with. Did it
Yes.
matter? I mean, I did one of them.
No, totally fine. Whatever you
Okay.
have access to or you got to is totally fine. It might show the shapes in different colors and those kinds of things, but for the most part, it's all the same. So, yeah, excellent question though. Yeah. Okay. So, as Leah said, I became obsessed with human design in 2018. It kind of accidentally was brought to me, which is perfect because I have a four in my profile. That means my best opportunities are going to come from people I know. I am an emotional manifesting generator. It'll all make sense in a little while. I am also a practicing professional psychic medium and astrologer. That work I've been doing, seeing clients since about 2020. I teach yoga, specifically energy medicine yoga. I'm a Reiki master. I'm a medical intuitive. I have a master's in public health, hence my 20 plus years in cancer prevention research. I still actually teach class for graduate level students in public health. And you can find me at my website is Hens Crossing. And I'm also on Substack. I do a lot of writing about my work and that sort of thing. I'm on the socials and stuff as well, but that's where I put the bulk of my stuff. So that's just a little bit about me so you know who or what you're talking to. Um, but yeah, and please feel free to jump in with questions. You can throw them in the chat too, but just bust out with stuff and it's okay. When we talk about human design, and Leah, thank you so much for like sharing your story because I feel like there is something that happens the day that I learned about human design, I remember a friend of mine shared a podcast with me and she was like, you have to listen to this. I wasn't really into podcasts back then. I love them now, but back then I wasn't. And I'm listening to this woman talk and I can remember literally feeling like a visceral like shaking in my body. Like this is like pay attention. Like my body was speaking to me. So but the core of human design is really about unpacking everything that's been piled onto us since we were small children about how we should behave, what we should do. We don't do that, we do this, well, and we go against our natural fabric of who we are. So human design is a system that helps you get back to that in essence. And so I love this quote. Maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so you can be who you were meant to be in the first place. And there's just something really beautiful about that because I feel like we all kind of pack on a lot of layers that aren't really us at the end of the day. And so,
Can you read it one more time?
sure, maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so you can be who you were meant to be in the first place.
Yes.
And I don't know who doesn't
I
resonate with
love that.
that. How many of us are living out the dogma that someone else told us was
I
what we
need to read
needed?
that every morning
Feel
myself.
free. I'll send
Yeah.
the slides out. You guys, you can print it, do what you want with it. So that's the essence of it. And what you get is this map that is like, what does this mean? What are these things? And all of this. And it's complex, and we're just going to maybe scratch the very surface of it tonight. But to give you a basis of this, it is a mystical system. So this is not something that you found in a textbook somewhere. But the components of human design include elements of astrology, which is something I know well, the chakra system, which is something most people are familiar with, Kabbalah, which is like ancient mystic Jewish wisdom, the I Ching, and then quantum physics. And so it's a really complicated mess of stuff, and it creates this map, which ends up being our body graph. We're not going to have a ton of time to get into the logistics of it tonight, but each of these shapes will either be colored in or not on your chart. This means it's defined or not. These lines that connect them are channels and all of that kind of thing. And the way that the shapes come together, are connected or not connected, makes up some components of us. Our energy type, it's what we understand, our strategy is how we're supposed to make decisions, our authority, this sort of thing. So this is the basics. This is just to give you a sense of what this is entailing, okay? The components of this. And this is what you might be familiar with, something you would have seen. Perhaps yours might look like this. If you went to the Genetic Matrix website, this is what that you would get. This is the exact product that they put out there. So, looking at your own, you'll get a sense. This is my chart actually. So some of these are colored in for me, some of them are not. It's a complicated gobbledygook of stuff, but it does make sense. So these are planets. If you know astrology, you might be familiar with some of these, the sun, the moon, this is Venus. So this has to do with astrology and the number system here. The chakra system includes some of these shapes. And so we don't have to worry about the logistics of all of this. The thing I want you to be aware of before we really get into things, on whatever printout you got from whatever service you went to, being able to identify your type and strategy and your authority. Sometimes it says inner authority, sometimes it just says authority. So if you find those things, you'll be able to kind of stay with the discussion and follow along. So you get a sense of those. If anybody isn't sure what they are,
So inner authority and authority are the same
they
thing.
are the same thing. Yes, they
Okay.
are the same thing. It just really depends on who you got your chart from.
And
Um,
even if you don't have your chart with you, you can still absorb a lot of this. And when
yes.
you get done, you can print this off and go
And
back and
yes.
rewatch it because
Yep.
we'll email it to you. And
You will
then
have
you
the
could go
replay.
back and yeah, have it in front of you. So even if you don't have it, it's still
Yes. And
it'll
if you're
still be
like
good.
me, I'm better to just like sit and absorb myself and then go back and try to make sense of it. It's like I feel like there's some of us we actually process like kind of like osmosis. Like my brother used to joke and stick his textbook on his head when he was in high school. But there is something about just taking it in and seeing how it lands. And I promise you, you're going to hear things here that are going to be like, ooh, that must be what my son is, or what my daughter is, or my sister is, or you're going to feel these things as we move through. So just kind of paying attention to how you feel as we move through this stuff, I think will be one of the best tools for you. So before we begin, none of this is good or bad. So it's not, oh, I have this or I have that or I don't have this or they have that. This is just to reveal your tendencies, what you're here for, what your natural gifts might look like. This is not intended for you to start feeling like judgy, like, oh, I should have more of this or less of that. And really, I really invite you to pay attention to how your body feels as you're hearing some of this tonight. Take what feels true, leave the rest, and know that I'm not trying to convince you of anything or try to get you to like buy into a thing that doesn't feel right for you. Because we're all born with gifts and talents, and throughout the course of our lives, these things get evaporated, hidden, tucked away, that kind of a thing. This system really is built to bring those things back. And so my spokesperson, unofficial spokesperson for this system is this fellow who you might recognize, Rudolph. And we all know the story of Rudolph, right? So Rudolph, born with this funny nose that lights up and it does things, and everybody thought it was great until what happens? His dad's like, "Oh, put that thing away," and put some charcoal on it and covers up this really sensitive, sweet part of him. Or he goes to the schoolyard and now he's being mocked by his fellow reindeer because he's got this funny red nose. So it's like, put the charcoal on, cover it up, cover up your gift, right? And then all of a sudden, when it's important, Santa comes knocking on the door. Hey, Rudolph, we need you to light this sky up so we could get Christmas going, right? So it's like it's meant to be funny, but it's not. It's true because it's such an example of us as children, something generally that we have learned or along the way we tucked away. And our most sensitive, beautiful gifts tend to be the things that we hide first, right? And so if we can unpack those, this system helps us do that by tapping into those things we talked about. We'll get there, the strategy, authority, and type. That always is how we kind of come back. So just know that human design is meant to be an experiment. It's meant to be something we try on and we kind of sample and play with and see how it feels. Some things may not feel true to you, others might. But Rudolph is my unofficial human design spokesperson. So spokes animal, I guess he's an animal. And I think it makes sense. So
Like
just,
for me growing up, my dad, I heard it over and over again. Sorry to interrupt you,
it's
but
okay.
children are meant to be seen and not heard.
Yeah, for
And I've
sure.
always felt like I've had like my throat chakra has always been very blocked because of that. And no matter what it was, if I had a question about religion, if I brought anything up, I had to be very careful of what I would say and how I would word it so I wouldn't get in trouble.
Yeah, and
And
we have
so
all done
that's
that.
like an example for me I can think of right away. That's like kind of like Rudolph, right? It was like
Yeah,
that was dimmed right away when I was curious as a kid and just had simple questions, right?
yeah,
I'm
yep.
sure you all can feel that
Yep,
in some way.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I always had a million questions. I was told to stop using big words. I was told to, be quiet and could you, all the things. And now I
Hmm.
just talk all the time and use
Hmm.
all kinds of big words, and I love it. Just use
Yeah.
words. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I do have one little poem for you because I think it's really a beautiful thing. I love words. I have a lot of Gemini in my chart, so I love the words. If you want, I always recommend close your eyes, let me read it to you. If you want to follow along and read, that's totally up to you too. But this poem to me is the essence of human design and why we study this and work with this. So the poem is called Change the Lighting by Brooke McNamara. And it goes a little something like this. If you can't change yourself after all the efforts, change the light by which you read your story. Exchange overhead for something softer, a lamp, a candle, a vine of shining holiday lights, and feel yourself becoming hugged by the fabric of shadows. You see the darkness here has wisdom too. You see these objects around become related by the pregnant emptiness that holds them and you. Let this light reveal the rapture of being just this. Then, further still, try moonlight or no light until at last this open, sourceless incandescence which you are, no matter who you think you are, will follow you from the inside wherever you go, however you may change or not. I mean, Leah, you said something just like this in the beginning. Like when I'm done trying to change, I had to accept myself, right? And like that's the essence of this. I love this. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah. We've tried all the lights. We've tried all the different ways except for
Hmm.
just self-acceptance. So hopefully you'll hear something tonight that really lands for you and feels true. And again, we're just like scratching the very tip of the iceberg here. So any comments, questions before we go? I'm not even looking at the chat. Anybody have anything?
Lisa asked, I did the genetic matrix. Where do
Uh-huh.
you find the strategy? Do you know where she would find that on?
I will tell you the strategy when we
Oh,
get
okay.
to it because the strategy is
Gotcha.
tied into do you know what your type is?
Yes,
Okay, what is your type? Because I'll tell you right now what it is, most
it
likely.
is emotional manifesting generator.
Okay, so your strategy is to respond, but we'll get into that when we
Okay,
get
thank you.
closer. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. I love questions. Let's do it. So energy type. So there's five energy types. This is sort of if you remember nothing else about human design, you will remember your energy type. So, although some people still don't. So let's go ahead and here we go. So the first, oh my God, what just happened to my light? Make that go away. Anyway, so the first is the generator. Okay. So generators, this actually is one of my faves in the whole world. This is Bono's chart. Not that anyone cared or asked, but this is Bono. I love him. I especially love him since they released wonderful songs yesterday. But anyway, so this is our generators. This is a more common energy type. So this is not to suggest that if you're a generator, you're boring or anything. That's not the case at all. It's just a more common energy type. So if there's 100% of people, this is about 35% of the population. You can tell someone is a generator or a manifesting generator if they have this center square lit up. So that's neither here nor there, but just a piece of trivia in case you like to know stuff. Generators must do work they love to feel alive. Okay. If they don't love their job, which does happen, we don't all love our jobs. They must have a hobby or volunteer or have a thing they love to do on their own. Because if they don't, they're going to feel like a flat, wet piece of toast. Just no life, no zest, no joy, right? These folks can have energy for days if they're doing a thing they love that they feel like they can totally get their teeth sunk into and they're lit up by and they feel that shake in their body. Like they can just go and go. They don't need breaks. They don't need water. They don't need anything. They can just keep going because it's just like they're just running on this fuel of joy and energy, right? Um, Generators are here to create joy in their life. Period. Amen. Full stop. I always compare my generators and manifesting generators, which are similar. But if you're one of those, you can go with this to lighthouses. And the way that I think of this, if you are the lighthouse, okay? If your light is not lit, no boats come into your harbor, right? And so if no boats can find you, no opportunities, no jobs, no partners, friends, whatever opportunities come, they can't find you because you're not lit up. So think about like E.T. He wanted to go home, and until he started to feel love and his heart light grew and all that, his people couldn't find him. So it's kind of like whether you prefer lighthouses or E.T., this is a similar energy, right? We have to light ourselves up. And so I say that because I'm a manifesting generator. When we have something we love to do, we light our lighthouse and then the boats can find us. The opportunities can cruise into our harbor. So I have a lot of metaphors. It's kind of how my brain works. But this is the point of being a generator. So if you're wondering, like, what's my purpose is just to feel good and like bring good things to myself. It's really critical for generators and manifesting generators to use up their energy so they can sleep properly because you're making a lot of your own energy all day, every day. So this might have to be like a walk around the block. It might have to be totally untapping your keg so that you can sleep well. These folks tend to have lesson issues around boundaries. I think I can do that. I want to do that doing too much, helping too many people. So sometimes kind of reining that in as to what is actually manageable for you. I'm sure there are generators in the group because there's always generators. Does any
If
generator?
anybody knows what you are, you can like I'm a manifesting generator. You could type it in the box and share with if you want.
Yeah, yeah, totally. If you want to share, if anybody does this land for you, does this feel like you? I'd love to hear your thoughts around this.
Stupid question. So manifesting generator is simply saying I'm a generator.
No, they're similar. I'm going to get to them next, but most of what I'm saying here will apply to you as well. So
Kimberly
not stupid at all. Yes.
Kimberly is emotional. Oh, no, Kimberly's Amanda. I'm sorry. Andrea is pure generator. Lisa is emotional generator. Katie is a generator. Crystal's a generator. That's what I have so far.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, we're going to always have generators.
good.
So when we talk about strategy, the strategy for generators and manifesting generators is to respond. And so this is probably the hardest part about being a generator because we were all raised in a world that says just go do it. Just follow your dreams. Chase that thing down, right? Go get that person or that whatever it is, right? But what we find for generators and manifesting generators is that we're not meant to chase things down. We're meant to let things come to us. So much more reason why our lighthouse has to be lit. The things that come to us are aligned with us, right? The things that don't, the ones we have to go seek out and find and make ourselves miserable hunting for, probably are not aligned. And I always ask my generators and manifesting generators, think of things you've had to chase down and tell me how well they went. Tell me about the good that came of those, that person you chased to go out with in high school, or the job you had to have and then it just didn't work out. For the most part, if you're living your authority and you're living your strategy and you're doing generator stuff like making yourself feel good, the things will come to you, even if you're doing stuff that's completely unrelated to the things you want. So I know that's really hard. That's been my hardest lesson. I still find myself pursuing things and I'm like, wait, no, it didn't come to me. No, it's not for me. And it could be, it might be, but most of the time it's not. So that's a tricky strategy to work with, but it's a valuable tool. Let's put it that way. So we're going to move on to my manifesting generators next. So I'm sure I have some of you here. I am one of these. I know Leah is one of these.
Hmm. Lisa, Kimberly, that I can see here so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I always say too, whether you are one of these or not, pay attention because you might find that your child is, or your best friend is, or your, mom or whomever. This again is a more common energy type. So 35% generators, 35% manifesting generators. So this is like a generator, but it's a hybrid of the generator and the manifester, which we haven't talked about yet. This is a very non-linear person. This is someone who, I mean, I am probably right now reading, I don't know, 4 to 7 books at any given time. You tend to have your hand in a lot of pots, things that don't go together. You might be into like archery and bricklaying or like just whatever lights your heart up in the moment. This is the essence of a manifesting generator. The world tells us pick one thing and stick with it, but that's not the essence of being a manifesting generator. You're meant to be exploring and trying things out. So you tend to maybe do things out of order, and that's okay. Maybe you jump the book in the middle, or maybe you pick up the series. Like I started watching Ted Lasso in like season 3 and then went back. I mean, whatever, like what, whatever lights you up, it's fine. Like do your thing because
I mean,
you're,
ADHD, I feel like, is it
yes.
ADHD or is it manifesting generator?
Yeah,
I
and
don't
it's like,
know.
it's okay. The
I
world
know.
does not support us doing this, but this is what we're here to be doing. So tend to think fast, talk fast, move fast. So if you are like on a team or you work with people who are like my biggest challenge always was waiting for people. And I'm like, oh, like it would just drip my soul out. I'd be like, oh my God, come on.
Mhm.
But the biggest thing I can say to manifesting generators is that when something is done, it's done. And if you don't feel it anymore and you start to feel like the ick when you start to do a thing, or you feel like, oh, so flat, I don't want to do this, it's over. And you have to let yourself pivot away from whether that's a job, a relationship. It's like when something is done, it's done. And the longer it takes to make it, if it's a thing that's done that you don't let go, it's hard and it makes your light squish. And so you don't get the opportunity. So that's a tricky thing about being a manifesting generator. But I think it's a lovely thing. We're very multifaceted, tend to have a lot of pivots in life, different careers, different experiences, because your energy is going to shift a lot. You will get bored easily, and that's okay to kind of recognize that and let it be what it is. So the strategy is the same as it is for the generators to respond to situations. And just because something is presented to you doesn't mean you have to want to do it. But it is part of the strategy. So again, just work on having fun for yourself and everything will come. That's no one's going to ever tell you that again, I promise. But I am here to say that because it's true. And
Mhm.
I have found this to be true. Being that I, work for myself now, I'm always concerned like, oh, I gotta do hustle, hustle, hustle. But when I hustle and I don't make time for fun or retreat at all, I get burnt out. And so I remember last fall, I let myself go on a retreat was an astrology retreat with some women out in California, and it was beautiful. I was there 5 or 6 days, I think, and the whole time I was like, oh, I kind of stopped thinking about my business. I just thought about what I was doing, and people booked stuff the entire week, and I didn't try at all, but I was having fun and I was lighting myself up. So my lighthouse was on, the ships were coming in the harbor. It had nothing to do with what I was trying to put out there, and it was a beautiful thing. So for me, that's like, this is where human design is an example of an experiment. It's an experiment. So try that. If it doesn't work for you and you want to go back to the hustle and not feeling good, then you can and see how that goes. But that's manifesting generator land. Please ask questions if you don't, if I, because I do talk fast, or if think,
I just wanted to say one thing about my husband's a manifesting generator and how different we can be. He's an introvert. He's very quiet. He's he's fun and but like he's always every time he writes me a card, he's like, "Thank you for making life so fun."
aw,
And
that's sweet.
he's like my rock, right? He's my steady place. So we're both manifesting generators, but our charts look very different. And
Yeah,
even some of our, when you look at the channels, do you call them channels or
yeah,
gateways?
yeah.
Like
These are
his
channels.
will come like his will have like red and or black and will meet mine and mine will be filled halfway this way and his will be filled
Mhm.
halfway this way. So
Yes,
we actually complete a channel.
yes.
So like even though
We're
we're both
attracted to
manifest
those people. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
and even though we're both manifesting generators, we're completely different. But yet our energy is really
It
great
works
together and
together.
beautiful together.
Yeah. And we'll
So,
talk about that when we get into the authority piece. That will probably
mm,
explain a bit of this because that's different. So just because you're a manifesting generator, you could
mm,
have emotional authority, you could have sacral authority. Like there's different sorts of authorities you could have. And then there's so much, but there's lots of ways to stack this up. And the
yeah,
other thing that we probably won't get to tonight, but we'll try to talk quickly, this profile thing that you probably also see, that can be a huge piece of this too. So we'll talk about as much as we can get into, but that's a really great point. But this is an
yeah,
interesting thing you bring up about this half of a channel thing. So the thing that makes shapes colored in is when they connect fully to another shape, okay? So by connection, this channel gets filled in. And you can see this one really wants to get to the throat, but it doesn't, right? So this person doesn't have that connection. If they meet someone who's got a 16, like at this half of the channel, this will get lit up and they will be attracted to that person. It doesn't have to be romantic or physical, but it is like, I want to work with you. You make me all of a sudden access a center I didn't have before. It's all energetic. And I also say this is one of the things that made me really, really fascinated about human design was that connection piece. The other thing is if you've ever been in some jerky relationship you couldn't get out of, or somebody that like you just were like, why can't I quit you? They probably connected some pretty profound energy for you. So just think it's
mm,
mechanical and it's energetic and it does not have anything to do with your character or your ability to navigate
right.
life. It's like magnetism. And when you can understand it, this underlies so much of us, it just makes all the sense. So I think it's pretty cool when you think about it like
Mm.
that. So I'm going to jump into projectors next. Do we have any projectors?
Yes, we have one. Brenna is a
Okay.
projector, it looks like.
Okay. So projectors are our third most common energy type. This is about 20% of the population. So if you're keeping up, we got about 70% are generators or manifesting generators, and then
Yeah,
another.
Wendy. I think we have two, sorry.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. And then 20%, so we're up to almost 90%. We've only gone through three profiles or energy types so far. So projectors are here to guide the other people. They're here to guide the generators and the manifesting generators. They tend to need a lot of like one-on-one time. They thrive in small group situations, like really that FaceTime is important to them. They're very attuned to what other people are feeling. This is the natural leader, the natural CEO, the one who can run the ship. It's someone they tend to love systems, they tend to be good therapists, they have that kind of like eagle eye view of the world. But the thing that is challenging for projectors is that they're not here to work super hard, okay? They're not here to work 40, 50-hour weeks. They're here to work like a little and then go rest and build rest into their lives because their energy works in spurts. And so it's not a consistent flow like the generators or manifesting generators. This pink square is open, so there's not a consistent access to the power center that we would have, but they are here to be strategic. They're here to be a guide. And so they're very much needed. Usually people who are projectors would report feeling this, like people always bring me their problems, or people always come to me because they need help with something, or I can work through something with them. To my projectors, if this feels like you, I mean, I'm hoping this is resonant for you. People that are projectors love when they hear that they're not supposed to work 40, 50 hours a week. They're like, oh my God, this is so validating, like my whole life. And what happens a lot of the time is projectors end up getting burnt out. By like age 40, they're pretty shot for the most part because they've been living the pathway. You must work all these hours, you must do all the things. I have a client I was just working with earlier this week who is a medical doctor, and she's a projector, and she had to like bow out of clinical work and go into more of a research field. She was like, I couldn't do that whole, the residency was like almost killed me, working that much intensity. It can be a lot. And most projectors don't know they are this, and then they experience that burnout. Comments, questions?
Well, I know both Brenna and Wendy. I know Brenna is my niece, and I feel like this fits her to a T. And Wendy is also, she's always the VP and CEOs, I feel like. So I feel like for both of them, to me, I was like, oh, when she said, yeah, I was like, okay, I can
Yeah,
see this.
yeah. Natural guides. So the
Yeah.
strategy for projectors is to wait for the invitation, which again is a little bit of an unusual thing to say to someone. But generally speaking, projectors do better when their advice, their wisdom is asked for. Okay. So if someone says, hey, Brenna, can you help me with this? You'll be like, well, yes, I can. I've been watching you make a mess of your life for 3 years. I'd love to help you out, right? Most projectors want to help, right? And when it's asked for, it goes better than when it's not. Let's put it that way. But also, projectors have like a specific energy to them, and people invite them in all the time anyway. But it's tough to kind of, it's like such a subtle difference. I had a client who found out she was a projector. She said she came back for a second session, and she's like, you actually changed my work life, because when I'm at work, I used to sit in meetings and I just would tell everybody what I thought the whole time and how they're doing it wrong and what they need to fix and all that. And they would roll their eyes and get annoyed with me. And she said, but then when I learned this, I stopped talking. I stopped. I just waited and I listened. And people would follow me to my office after and be like, why aren't you telling us what to do anymore? She's like, I'm just listening. I just want to take it all in. And by them asking her what's up, she would tell them, and she said, all of a sudden now my ideas are important and they're listening to me and they're implementing the things I'm doing because they're asking me as opposed to me telling them, which I just found really fascinating because she really hadn't changed her perspective at all. She just stopped sharing uninvited, really. And she found that to be this big game changer for her. So I always share that because I think it's a really simple but understandable, like, why is this like this? And this is exactly why. So,
That totally resonates.
Is
yeah.
it, Wendy? Good.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Yeah. It's my parents were both projectors, and my mother she would say like, well, I'd be like, Mom, you don't call us. And she's like, well, I figure if you want to talk to me, you'll call me. So then we'd have to call and we'd ask. And if you ever asked her, Mom, what do you think? Oh, let me tell you. Let me tell you what you're doing wrong. She loved it. Loved to correct us. So it was great. And she didn't get to know she was a projector because I didn't have this then. But anyway, so it's a really important thing to know about yourself. And if you are involved with another person or work with someone or live with someone that's a projector, it's important to know that too. Projectors can be super sensitive though physically. And so sometimes projectors do better if they have sleeping trouble, if they sleep alone. Because if they're sleeping with someone else, they're picking up their energy all night, they might get like kind of clogged up. So that's just like a thing that again no one wants to talk about,
That's
but
good advice.
yeah, but can be really important. So manifestors are next. Do we have any manifestors?
Wait, oh no, sorry. Yes, we do. Hold on. I thought we had a manifester. No, wait,
Barbara.
generator. Did we have a pure manifester? Emotional manifest? No, no.
Okay, that's all right. Well,
Maybe we don't.
yeah, it's like it's only 8 to 9% of the group, so I don't
Yeah.
always get one. So these folks are the only ones who really are just here to just do it. They're the ones who don't need permission. They don't need to wait for an invitation or to do any of the other things. They are here to just do what they want to do. Like projectors, they are not meant to work long hours. They're meant to work in bursts. They kind of are like throw your idea on the table and then go home. It's not meant to be a big push for them to do a lot of heavy lifting. They very much are like put the idea out there, get someone to do the work and get it done, and then move on to the next thing. If someone is a manifester, it's really important that they allow themselves to do what they want to do because it's really, really hard for people if they don't have that. I meet manifestors who feel squashed a lot of the time because they're not, no one was raised to just do whatever you want, but this is it. But I am a parent to two of these people, and I can tell you the strategy for a manifester is to inform. And when we say that, it's manifestors tend to fly off and do their thing once they figure out what they're doing. And as their mother, I want to know what they're doing because they don't ever tell me and I feel alienated. So we've talked about that. I'd be like, okay, manifestors, you must inform. Uh, and it's really just, it's not that they're seeking permission, it's more that they're just letting people know what they have going on because they can be so like self-focused on that one thing that they kind of lose other people in the process. This does not make them selfish. It just makes them singularly focused. So let's put it that way. They tend to have a very, very specific energy aura to them. So I can always spot a manifester 100 paces away. They just, it's the way they carry themselves. There's just something to it. It's a very commanding presence, is what I would say. So
Hey,
again,
Christy,
much less common. Yeah.
can I ask you a question? Somebody's trying to get in and I don't see where they're trying to get in. She accidentally closed herself out of it.
In
Is
the
there anything?
list of people, like, and like if it'll say at the top, like admit, it'll say like if someone's in the waiting room.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
That's
Sorry,
okay. That's okay.
Sorry,
Christy,
Barbie. I'm so sorry. I didn't know how to let you in.
Thank
I
you
need to
so
get
much.
better
I
at
was so
Zoom.
mad at
I'm sorry.
myself. No, at myself. I was mad at myself. I was like, doggone it.
Sorry.
Christy,
Oh,
I do have a question. So
yes.
I am the projector, but
Yes.
I'm also the individual who gets shit done. So I don't like delegate to other. I mean, I do delegate to others as needed, but I
Hmm.
make sure stuff gets done. How does that fall into that?
Do you allow yourself some free time? Like, do you allow yourself? I mean, you can get things done. You can be efficient and work hard. I mean, the woman that I have studied with human design for years is a projector, and the woman gets a ton of stuff done, but she builds in breaks. She does
Oh,
not, for
yeah.
example, she does not take any meetings before 1 p.m. because that's her thinking time, her alone space, and then takes meetings after 1 o'clock because then she feels like, okay, I have free space to talk. But then by, 3 o'clock has to like go lie down a little or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like giving yourself permission to have that flexibility and to let your body let you know. A lot of times I talk to projectors and they're like, oh yeah, I need like 20 minutes after lunch. I just go like lay in a chair and like then I feel like a whole new person. So I feel like just allowing your body to dictate like the ebbs and flows of your energy can be really critical.
Yeah, I absolutely do that. I block my calendar. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
for sure. Yeah, you can totally get stuff done. This doesn't mean you're lazy. This just means you need to take some breaks for yourself in the midst of it. Yeah, and that's definitely also true for manifestors. Manifestors, especially as children, need a lot of decompress time, I would say, a lot of alone time. So if anyone has a child that's a manifestor, yeah, I wish I knew that like 18 years before I did. And then we have reflectors. These are very uncommon. I highly doubt we have a reflector here. I only have like if I have 900 clients, I have five reflectors. I don't have many. But these folks have nothing. They have no connections between any of the shapes, and this is Margaret Atwood's chart, the author of The Handmaid's Tale. So I just found that really interesting. They tend to be like our canary in the coal mine. So I think it's kind of fascinating that that's Margaret Atwood's story because she's so good at like sort of telling the narrative of the world we live in, right? Um, they are highly, highly subjective to their environment because every space in their chart is open. There's going to be a lot of sensitivity to their space, to the people they're around. Their energy changes every day. The moon will dictate a lot for them because the moon moves around the chart. That's like a 3 days down the road conversation. But their authority is to wait a full lunar cycle to make big decisions. And I remember when I first found a reflector in nature, it was my cousin's son. And I screamed when I saw it. I was like, oh my God, it's a reflector. And she said, I asked her, I'm like, does he take a long time making choices? She's like, oh my God, it takes him like forever to figure out if he wants to, you know. And this is exactly how reflectors are because they feel the whole picture all the time. Profoundly sensitive, really creative, lovely individuals. So the ones that I do know are beautiful souls. And it's really important because they reflect back the world to us. So if the world's a mess, they're gonna not be so great. And it's also really critical in relationships. So if you're with a relation, you're involved in a close personal relationship with a reflector, watch their moods. It will be a dictate of how things are going. So, um, I know we don't have all the time, so I'm trying to keep going. But please, if you have questions, jump out at me. So we're going to talk about the authority piece next. So I know that this is, we sort of danced around this a little bit. If everybody, whether you know it or not, this is going to be interesting, I think. So the inner authority has a lot to do with how we are best suited to make decisions. We're not all follow your gut people. That is a misnomer. Um, we often don't align with our natural authority based on conditioning, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer type stuff. Well, we don't do that here. We do this. Put this on your nose. So there are 6 different types of authority, and most, again, will follow a pattern. Some are more common than others, much like the energy types. So the 6 are sacral, emotional, splenic, ego, self-projected, or mental projected. Some of you are going to say, well, I'm a pure generator. Pure means sacral. That's all I'm going to tell you. If you see that, you're sacral. If there's any questions about what you are or you're feeling like you're not included in the conversation, just let me know. Please yell out. I'm totally cool with yelling. So first, this is, I would say, the most common type. This is the emotional authority. So this is 50% of the population. People either are or they are not. There is no like, so everybody you know either has emotional authority or they don't. That's it, quite frankly. This is 50% of the people. So if you have this shape, this particular triangle on the side, if you have this colored in, you are an emotional authority, okay? Um, you are meant to take time to make big choices. You do not make gut instinct calls on decisions. You need to ride the wave. So we talk about the wave, we're talking about emotional wave. So the emotions can be really low, the emotions can be really high, and then somewhere in the middle is where we're meant to make decisions, okay? This is the trickiest kind of authority. And if you think about half of us are walking around like this, I have this.
Christy,
It's
is this solar plexus?
yes, solar plexus is this shape
Is
here.
emotional.
Yes, I'm sorry. I could
Okay,
have said
okay.
that.
And several of us have solar plexus for our authority.
Yeah, solar
So
plexus is emotional.
is
Yes, I
emotional.
should have
Okay.
said that.
Okay.
Yes. Um,
This has been a huge lesson for me in my life.
yes. This basically means that your emotions are your superpower, okay? Most of us were not taught to allow such a thing, right? I was actually told to not waste my energy on my emotions by my mother, who had splenic authority. So I'm sure she did it out of the kindness of her heart, but this is my special gift is using my emotions. So this is tricky. In terms of intuition, if you're trying to just tap into your natural ebbs and flows, I feel like this is the trickiest one because you're always prone to second guess yourself. So emotional authority can come with time. People need space to make choices. Okay. So I think this is huge. The best plan for people who have emotional authority is to sleep on major decisions. Not forever, maybe a couple days, but wait until you feel clear. The thing about having emotional authority is that you are never, ever, ever going to feel 100% correct. You will always question a little bit. You're never going to be totally sure, but you have to let your body just pick, let your body go with it. There's also then this sacral center, the pink square in the middle. If you also have that filled in, this will add a gut instinct quality to your decisions. So once you have both, because you have both, if you have both, you need to reach clarity first and then do a gut check. It's tough, right? Once you start aligning with it, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna know, yeah, no, this is a hard no. This is a maybe. One of my favorite examples of emotional authority and how and why we need to give it space is, we've all, if you're emotionally defined, you've maybe been at like a work function, a happy hour, something, you're like, yeah, we're all gonna go to that. We're going to Jamaica next summer all together and then you're like, yeah, that's a great idea. And then you wake up the next morning like, that's a terrible idea. I don't like these people. I don't want to go anywhere with them besides maybe happy hour. So it's like when we're caught up in the emotions, we're like, yes, yes. And then we're like, no. So we have to wait for the middle, right? And that takes time. Sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's just a little while. If it feels good after a day or two, then it's a yes. If it doesn't go to the ick zone and back again, you're good. Like you can go with that. It is tricky. It's tricky. It is. But it's important to know that because if anything, if you learn to trust your emotions more than anything else, I think you will do well in life. So that's for emotional authority people. Some of you have sacral authority. So if you have sacral authority, this means this is going to be open. Okay. This is like the boss of all authorities is emotional authority. If this is not defined and it's open, then there's an order as to what comes next. Sacral authority probably is most of you. I know there's a lot of generators in this group. This is the gut instinct. Okay. So this is, you're the ones who follow your gut, listen to your gut, follow the gut. Most of us don't have this. Those of you who have it, I think it's a beautiful thing. You will never change your mind. You might change it, but it's like your body is meant to, your gut instinct is the most correct for you, always and forever, full stop. Trust is your friend. You can try to think your way out of a situation. You can make a list. You can do pros and cons, but the very first knee-jerk gut reaction is the correct one for you. You might change your mind 6 times. You're going to come back to the first decision. So take as much time as you want, but you're going to come back to what is correct in the knowing of the first moment. If you don't feel aligned with your gut, and a lot of people don't because they were not taught to trust it, you will do better with yes or no questions, 2 option questions, this or that. What do you want for dinner? Say, what do you want for dinner to someone with sacral authority and don't give them any choices, they're going to melt down. If you say, do you want steak or chicken? Do you want pizza or tacos? They need 2 choices because they can feel the yes or the no. It's like, do I want chicken? No, I want pizza. You can kind of feel that you can start to ask yourself small, unimportant questions throughout the day. Do I want to wear this red sweater or this blue sweater? And you can start to feel the yes or no in your body. And as you start to trust those small moments, you overall start to trust the bigger picture, if that makes sense. I'm going to plow through these because I want to make sure we get to everything. Does anyone have anything besides sacral or emotional authority? I just want to make sure I talk about it.
Brenna said splenic.
Okay, yep.
Splenic?
That's coming up soon.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay. So self-projected authority is pretty uncommon. This is someone who needs to hear themselves say things out loud. And I know that sounds strange, but they hear their truth, right? So they might have to say the words to hear it, either the feeling of it coming out of their mouth. They speak directly from their heart. They need a moment to just say things out loud. It's really important for people with self-projected authority to have a sounding board that they can work with, that they can hear the things come up. Then we have splenic, which is you, Brenna. This is definitely a projector energy. This is someone whose intuition is their biggest ally, okay? So if you don't feel connected to your intuition, I would work with it. The intuitive hits come in kind of like a whisper. It comes, they say once it comes, it won't come again. I would say that feels threatening. It can come again if you miss it the first time. But it's really important for people with splenic authority to pay attention and to get really good at getting quiet. Meditation can be great for you, having grounded practices, things where you're just in your own space. It's really important for people with splenic authority to be alone when they're making big decisions because they might feel other people's stuff around them. Again, their sensitivity here. So this is going to always be either a projector or a manifester. They do not have the sacral energy. Again, these folks are not meant to work 40 hours a week. They work the best in spurts. And so that's our splenic authority. There's ego authority. I don't think we have anyone with this. This is I have very few clients who ever have this. This is a very, very specific energy. It is also called heart authority. Very rare. These people make choices based strictly on what their heart wants. They need to feel conviction in their choices and they need to rest up before they make big decisions. So again, I just go through this quickly because there are people in our lives who have these authorities and we're not all cut from the same cloth at all. So this is mental authority is the last one. A lot like the self-projected authority that they must have a sounding board. This would only ever be a projector. And this again is one I hardly ever see. This is actually Abe Lincoln's chart because I just never find these to have an example of them. Very specific energy. All the energy's in the head, nothing's in the body. So the body is profoundly sensitive and the mind is constantly going. Again, very uncommon. People very, very sensitive to their spaces, the people that they're around. They need time to make decisions, and it's really critical that they have people that they can trust to take things to. So those are our 6 authorities. I know we just said a lot of things. So now you know your energy type, you know your strategy, and your authority. Those are the most important parts of human design. If you're ever in doubt, go back to those things. Am I chasing something down and I'm not meant to? Am I waiting for a thing and I'm not invited? Or whatever it is, take yourself back to those moments. It always helps you lead yourself back to your pre-Rudolph charcoal on the nose moment. And this is not meant to be taken piecemeal. Like you said, Leah, my husband's a manifesting generator and we're so different, but the alignment is there. So it's not to say that everyone's a cookie cutter of this particular type. There's 1,000 other things that will kind of dictate, but these are the essences. And I just always invite people to, take what you need from this, take what
Mhm.
felt true to you, and really leave the rest.
And this is really just like 1% of where
It's
this can
just a
go.
tip of the
It's really,
iceberg. Yeah.
yeah, if it feels interesting to you and it feels like it's speaking to you, I really invite you to dig in a little further and see where it would take you. Sorry,
Can
Christy, go
I ask
ahead.
a question?
Yeah, please.
So I really want to dig into this and I've been doing screenshots and it's very exciting, but because I messed up, I didn't get to see the screenshot of the emotional manifester. Could we click back to, I don't need you to explain it. I'll
Are
just do
you a manifester?
emotional manifester.
Oh, this is exciting.
I was so mad I clicked off on
Oh,
accident.
that's
I was like,
okay.
So
I'd love to
you're
be
a
able to.
manifester. You were saying that, Leah, that there was someone that you couldn't
I
find it.
thought there was a manifester, but then it was
Yes.
then okay.
So these are the manifestors. This is a very specific energy. It's a very
Yes.
more uncommon energy type.
And that's what
Less
my
of
lines look like. That's what my
okay.
lines, yeah.
This is Adele. So you and Adele must have something going on there.
Christy, real quick, Barbara, where did you get the lines? I did not get that in my report.
On my chart, it had just like that picture, and then it had all my breakdown on the left. And I got it on the Nexus one. I think that's what it
Nexus.
was.
Okay, I will go click on that. Thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah, they should show you where things connect to each other. Manifestors are here to just do it. You need to just give yourself permission to do what you want. You'll feel squashed if you don't. And I don't know how that was for you, like in life, or if you've accepted
Yeah.
this at this point in time. Tend to have very specific energy. We can usually spot manifestors because of the way that they carry themselves. It's very much an energy around self-assurance, needing to sort of steer your own ship and let you give
Okay.
yourself permission to do what you want to do. I meet a lot of manifestors who don't do that or are very feel conflicted about that, and they can feel like very not aligned, right?
Okay.
We notice you when you walk in the room. That's what I always tell my manifestors because it is such a specific energy. And the strategy for manifestors is to inform. So just to keep the other people in your life aware of what you're doing, your major life
Okay.
choices and where you're going with things, because manifestors just tend to fly off and do the thing. Also not supposed to be working, really long hours. You need to build breaks into your life. This is sort of an essence of a manifester. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Thank you. I'm so sorry to have to make you to do that.
No,
I
that's
appreciate it.
okay. Totally understand. Technology is not our friend always. So yeah. And
Friends,
then,
I just wanted to like Christy talked about, she has twins and they're manifestors, right, Christy?
yes. Mhm.
It's really, if you have relationships in your life, this can really be interesting. You can meet with Christy. She does marriage sessions. She does family
Really good stuff.
sessions, which is so interesting to learn. Like if you're struggling maybe with a relationship with a child or with
Yeah.
a parent or a sibling or just anybody, a friend even that you're like, why can't we get, whatever it
Yeah.
could be, or it could be positive too, like why do we click so well,
Yeah.
Um, but that's been really interesting for me. Like when I go to hire, I went to hire somebody this past October, my very first full-time employee, and I used human design with that hiring process because I didn't want somebody like me. I wanted somebody with different qualities that can
Yes.
can take what I have to say and make it good.
Mhm.
And so I didn't want a me. I want somebody that's different than me that can take the where I lack and like pick up, and so we make a good team because we're not the same. She doesn't, we
Yeah.
operate differently.
Yeah, and
So,
that's a great point, Leah. That can be really important for people if you do run a business or you're in charge of a team of people to understand who's on your team. That's critical. So
right,
important. Yeah.
right. And the last thing I just wanted to share is this year for my gift to myself, I'm gifting myself 4 sessions with Christy just to work on my professional, just like on my career and helping me expand. And instead of me going to a therapist or something like that, now Christy has become my
No
therapist.
pressure. Yes.
But
I am not a therapist, but I will
but
help you
no,
with
no.
life.
But like I feel
Yeah.
like there's a lot of things that if I tap into knowing of who I am and what it's naturally is in my charts with the in human design and astrology, that it's going to help me um expand,
Yeah,
simply
for
said.
sure.
And so these are just things to keep in mind if you decide that you want to keep learning about this, that there's a lot of resources and tools and people like Christy that are just amazing to help, you know, if you feel a blockage, if you feel like there's something in your life you just can't get past, and you might find that it's just something that you didn't realize, and it was brought out by learning more about your chart.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And
any
there's
more
all
questions?
kinds of options. If you want to book a reading or have a session, I'm giving everybody a code for 10% off through the end of March. You don't have to have the session by then, but if you book it before then, you can use that code Sunny10 to get 10% off. I can do groups, I can do families, relationships, and also there's a combination chart where we could do your astrology and birth chart, your astrology and your human design chart at the same session, which is kind of a fun session to do. So, um, I am open to any questions. I know we've gone over a few minutes, but if anybody has questions or anything you want to get clarity on, we just talked about a lot of stuff. I'm here to help you with
Christy,
that.
can I just make a comment?
Sure.
I'm I'm way past my career of like deciding what I want to do next, but
Yeah.
any of you who are sitting in a career position where you want to excel,
Yeah.
every CEO that I've ever met with is wanting me to help people understand who they are. And that self-awareness is so critical. So if you are in that age of like wanting to excel, this was new to me, this human design. I can't tell you how many self-assessments I've done in my life, but a lot of
Yeah.
them. So I would encourage you to continue on this journey if you have the means and the capacity to do so.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
Wendy.
And I sometimes call it like the mystical Myers-Briggs, It's like you don't have to answer any questions though. I just need to know what time you're born. I mean, you can
Yeah,
leave
which
any
is
thoughts, but
so bizarre. I was shocked
yeah.
at like what this showed me with that.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
fascinating,
great.
really.
It is.
And that's why it's stuck with me for so long because, and especially, and this is something I'm working on myself, is the real combination of human design and astrology together adds so much nuance
Mm,
that neither system alone can provide, which is kind of great. I don't have a teacher
mm.
for that though, so I'm kind of making it up as I go, but I know that they're true, so it's not made up, but it's like I don't have a system to follow, so I'm kind of making my own path, but
Yeah, but
it's cool.
it's
Yeah,
working
it's
with
cool.
you and being able to go to weave between the two is very transformative and it's really interesting.
Yeah.
And Christy,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know DISC,
Yes,
DIS.
yes. I'm disc certified, so I know how to
I
do that.
feel like there's gotta be some really linkage there, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a high D.
yeah,
Um,
I could tell.
yeah. I'm a high D. I'm an Aries sun. Yeah, there's so much overlap. I haven't woven that in yet, but I was certified to do disc maybe like 10 years ago or
How do you spell
so.
disc? I'm gonna put it in the chat. D-I.
DISC. It's like D
Okay.
little ISC. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I haven't heard of this. I'll have to look this up.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
awesome. Leah, you are definitely an I.
An I.
I
Okay.
think, yep, pretty sure.
I'm excited. Does
Yeah.
anybody else have any questions? All good. We're going to send out an email tomorrow with the recording and also with I'll link you to Christy in case you want to, follow her or get in touch with her. And
Yeah.
then I'm also going to send you my favorite human design app that I like. And there was one other thing. Oh, my niece Brenna actually who's on the call got me a really great human design book. And that's been really great to just kind of keep by my bedside and to kind of slowly read, as something comes up in my life that I'm able to kind of apply it to. So
Which one is it? I just am curious which one you're reading.
Brenna, do you have it right there? Oh, thank you.
I can't see.
Can you,
It's
yeah,
blurry.
it's blurry. Put it
Right.
up in front of your
Yeah,
face.
it's the modern, oops, I don't know, I have the
I
background.
don't think I've
A
ever seen
Modern
that one.
Guide to Human Design by Rachel
Yeah.
Lieberman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who she is. She does a lot of family
Look,
work, so that's cool.
I
Yeah,
can't get it to, I have my background blurred.
that's okay. That's all right. My teacher is
I'll put it in
Erin
there.
Claire Jones, and she wrote a book called How Do You Decide? And so it's a really good book. It's pretty concise. If this gets pretty dense, so that's a good one too. So
Wonderful.
yeah, well, it was a pleasure to work
That's good.
with and
I
meet all
know.
of
Chrissy,
you.
thank you for donating your
Yes,
time.
you're
This
so
was so
welcome.
nice. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. And we're all clapping for you and saying thank you.
Thank you.
And thank
Thank
you
you
all
all so
for
much for
being
your
here.
time and attention. Have a great night and
Yeah.
hope to
It's
hear
so
from
good
you
to
in
see
the
all your
future.
faces. Mwah.
Bye.
All
Thank
right,
you,
take
Good.
care.
Leah and Christy, for doing this. It's been awesome.
Sure
Yes.
thing. Thank you for your
Oh, thank
attention.
you.